that level of play, I want to see what happens when they face off against Korea.
All right, well, we have to finish off their match against EU first, so let's go to Battleground number 3 and find out where exactly we will be going for the third map in this best of 5 series. Here it is. We're going to Sky Temple. You can also tell because there's a nice little music cue in the background. A nice little touch there, Josh. I'm proud of you. So Sky Temple and Dignitas with the pick.
Yeah, Dignitas with Sky as the choice now, so it's the third time that they have the map choice, and that has also been something we've been witnessing. Most teams against them want to play the map, want to play the first pick over the map choice, and that's something that we're going to see now. Let's find out what Method can do. I really want to see who can beat Dignitas first.
I think here, they need to make sure they get the global, and they have to do their best to allow Arcaner to be effective against Wubby. Wubby has been cleaning up the map heavily by himself here, being in spots where he just completely controls the tempo of the game. The first game, it was Snitch. Second game, it was Wubby on the Leoric. I want to see Arcaner be empowered here to be effective with that 4-man from the rest of Method, trying to shut down anyone they can.
For both teams, it's the first match on Sky. Both of them have not played on Sky Temple yet.
Dig obviously has a plan here as they pick the Battleground. Method.
Abathar is the hero that I want to see.
Yeah. As played or banned?
Either one.
Yeah.
We've seen so many Abathar bans now. We've only seen him play twice, and both of those games were won. I want him highly prioritized on this map as well. Or if not Abathar, then at least another global hero. Again, Dehaka, Falstad coming to mind, with Falstad also something that Dignitas is able to throw out right now. But Abathar is banned. Okay. So
not allowed.
Going in on the ban here. Can completely understand that. I personally would love to see a few more games with Abathar, but I can understand that teams ban him out of this spot.
Tracer, first pick for Method.
Okay, I said it earlier. I'm not so sold on the Tracer first pick. I feel it gives too much potential to take synergies away from her and also start to counter her. As the first double pick, I like it a bit more since you can grab Malfurion immediately with her. But right now, I want to see how Dignitas counteracts it.
Well, Method has shown they're willing to play Tassadar, so you have two options. You have the Malfurion, which Dig probably is going to take away here, and then Method can get the Tassadar afterwards. It's fallen off a little bit because Tassadar, again, we've talked about his nerfs over and over, more vulnerable, can't really stay too close to the Tracer, but it's still an option. So Method counting their chickens here and seeing if they'll get one of those two.
Dignitas has prioritized Malfurion. We talked about that earlier. They are sitting currently at 5-0 with Malf, so they include him in nearly all their drafts, and they make no exception here, especially with Tracer having, of course, great synergy with him, Malfurion, and Greymane. And Method, they really know what they want. Insta picks and bans on their end.
Nubarak and Uther. Nubarak makes sense. Cocoon, Tracer now has a 5v4 with the aid of her teammates. Can find a kill before the Cocoon actually gets burned down.
What do you ban here for Dignitas?
Do you do the Tassadar ban to be safe? Or are you more worried about something else?
I don't know if Dignitas is worried about anything at this point anymore, the way they're playing.
Okay, let's come down to our pleb level.
But I say at this point, with what you've seen, I would agree you could ban out Tassadar. Just throw it out there.
There is Dehaka if you don't want to worry about dealing with her constantly pushing, and the Tracer being on a force of fight.
It's another good point. You could also ban Dehaka out if you're worried about any kind of global pressure. They're currently looking more towards making the life of Greymane a little bit easier. So they're not really saying, okay, what do we worry about the most? What could strengthen them? They are more about, okay, what could weaken us? Arthas is always annoying when you have to play with Greymane into him. Okay, let's get rid of him. Another ban I could have seen now thinking about it is Tyrael. But Tyrael might also be something that Dignitas considers as a pick, since, again, we have him with Greymane together, so maybe Method banning him out, especially since, of course, thanks to the boss on Sky Temple, there's always the Sanctification value and later on Holy Ground that you can use.
Yeah, now that you've mentioned it, I want Tyrael 4 Dig here on this next pickup.
I want him banned by Method.
Yeah. Probably thinking about here. Is the Dehaka ban worth it for Method?
If they ban Dehaka, I think Dignitas takes Tyrael. I would be more concerned about Tyrael, to be honest. Especially with the way that these fights have been going. Zeratul, okay.
Interesting. Haven't seen a Zeratul yet in Europe, right?
Nah, we've seen him quite a bit in North America.
Yeah.
Europe, not yet. Ban on him.
Turtle is threatening for Tracer. And just his base hit alone, she's quite scared of him, being able to warp a blade whenever she recalls, etc., etc., getting the aggressive engagements. And with Greymane diving here too, it's not a bad ban, just one unexpected.
But right now, that would immediately lead me to let's get Material. Get Material. Thinking about Li Ming here as the next choice as well.
For reset comp.
Yeah, not only that, just having the poke in addition to Greymane, using that as a tool. Also, a Nuburak with a Cocoon, you can burst that down pretty easily. Dehaka instead. Tyrael as expected, but we get for now Dehaka, so they have the global ability now.
Alright, Method, are you going to show us Tassadar again? Or do you have something else up your sleeves here? More damage would be nice.
In a damage perspective, let's see what they do from damage point, but we also need still a solo laner for them. So Method, what could they play here? Could we have Blaze on this map taken by them? We still have Malthael, which oftentimes gets back. Illidan!
Illidan Junkrat. Blaze I'm a little worried about just because of Tyrion's Holy Ground. Later on, that'd be really annoying for him to deal with. You have Bunker you can go into, but still. But this is different, that's for sure. Illidan, Tracer, Junkrat.
Not quite sure what I think about it yet.
Tire, Tracer Pulse Bomb, Illidan Hunt.
Illidan so far did not really have a lot of success. He was played twice and lost both of these games, and he goes up against Dehaka now. So there's first of all Malfurion with the Twilight Dream, which is a problem for him. There's Dehaka, who can hit the isolation, and with Tyrael we have Sanctification coming out too. So I'm not 100% sold on Tyrael in that situation now. He can be great for the pseudo-global that he provides with Hunt against Dehaka, so that adds a macro aspect to his playstyle. And with Uther's Divine Shield, if it's used on him, it can also work. So I'm not saying that it's horrible pick here, but I feel it's going to be a rough game for him. It's not going to be easy against all the obstacles that he goes up against.
Not going to be easy, but I appreciate the different strategy coming out from Method. There's that Li Ming you were talking about.
Yeah.
And Dignitas has gotten a very perfect draft, it feels like, for this Battleground.
I mean, as I said earlier, I wanted them to go into Tyrael and Li Ming. They pick Li Ming and go into Dehaka first, which I actually like as well quite a lot, since they have now the global. So I feel that forces Hunt out of Illidan if they don't want to be outplayed. We've all seen on the first map what a global can do to Method in the hands of Dignitas if Method doesn't counteract that with the global on their own. So I think they need to go for Hunt here, and we have seen very little Metamorphosis. But the draft for Dig is strong, very powerful, traditional, what you would expect on the map, very strong also around boss plays that we oftentimes see here. You have the global, you have the resets, Greymane. I like a lot what they're bringing to the table here, and I still have the reservations for Illidan in particular that I talked about at the beginning.
I mean, even if you just look at the draft here, let's say even Dig was 1-6 right now, this is still a draft where they're all playing heroes that they are destructive and excel on, right? You have Malfurion here for Azalea, you have JPL playing the Tyrael. Tyrael is something that he showed off often in 2017, and is one of the few players that played it often here in the HGC. And then you have Greymane, which is where we started to really notice Snitch was starting to excel last year. So this is deadly. This is not looking good for Method at all.
Yeah, especially considering how the first two games went. Coming back by getting really just beaten into the ground like this without even having a chance, with like at times a 4-level lead for Dignitas. That's something where mentally alone that really plays tricks on you, and coming back from that and finding some kind of solution to that problem is difficult, and I don't think, I'm not sure if Method can pull it off right now. Dignitas just looks unbeatable.
Well, Method's been beaten up, but they have some band-aids. They're ready to go into game number 3 and see if they can get through this, whereas Dignitas can be kind of mean and pull the band-aid off of the hair and hurt him. Let's find out.
Interesting analogy.
Thanks, man.
Game on! Game number 3, and it could be the last one. Dignitas to the left looks dominant. 2-0 lead, and we have Poigon Li Ming now. Zelia on Malfurion, Snitch on Greymane, JPL on Tyrael, and Wobby on Dehaka.
Method on the right side, hoping to stay alive in this match. A Thorough on a Nubrak, Nick on Junkrat, Arcaner playing Illidan, Schwimpy on Tracer, and Curson with the Uther.
All right, let's bring it. Let's see what a Method has got. What do they have here? Their draft is an interesting one. They have Tracer in the composition with Uther for now. Dignitas immediately taking Malfurion away from the comp. And we have now Illidan, of course, as a bit of a game changer potentially. But there are a lot of tools that Dignitas is running that could ruin Illidan's day. Talking about Malfurion and his Silent, the Twilight Dream. Talking about Dehaka with Isolation and the Drag. Talking about Drags, that was nearly a kill. Shrimpy already getting a bit of a wake-up call early in the game.
I'll be letting a drag on Tracer. You know how hard that is? When you play Dehaka and you let a drag on Tracer, you put your keyboard down. You're done for the day. You let the bot take over because you are not getting again. Wubby. I know they didn't get the kill, but I see you. I see you.
Still look good. Forced also the quick tap on the fountain. But yeah, nothing happened yet. Nothing of consequence, at least. But already showcasing quite vividly how difficult this could be for Shrimpy.
Now, Nick against Wubby here. Wubby doesn't have to worry about him too much. Nick can put out some damage, but it's all about the wave clear. Dropping in the Dark Swarm where you can, clearing it up. Greyman has started the Giants, and Method intends to be aggressive. They move it towards the bush, wanting to fight over the area.
4 versus 4.
They come in.
Very aggressive move by Method, and I like that they do that, but the reaction of Dignitas is instantaneously. So they start to move in, they take the camp. Now Method is a bit of pressure to get their own. They do that. Uther needs to be careful in the mid lane now. Got attacked immediately. And has to fight that 1 versus 1 as we are seeing Greymane and also Malf moving to the top. And Illidan is in trouble.
Illidan pumps out. Here's the evasion. Dodges out in the root. Watches out for the orb. I like the maneuver. Just not enough. Too many resources in the top. And Arcaner gets taken out with Illidan.
Arcana did everything right here.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything else. That was the only play that he had. Nice move by Shrimpy as well. I really love that attempt against Snitch to get the kill here, and it was close. So Snitch barely not falling. But yeah, as I said, Arcana on Illidan did everything right. He dodged whatever he could, but they put him into a position where he just could not survive. The only mistake that Arcana made, he didn't move back earlier.
We'll be clearing out the Giants that came down here. Going to be able to deal with those. The experience lead trickling in a little bit for Dig, but nothing too crazy. Method right behind them, matching where they can. Going to be working on the night camps, but the same to be said for Dignitas as they grab their own night camps on the left side. It's all about who can control that top and push it in. Dehaka can join at any point. And
here, Kena is waiting it out now, so he waits until the night camp of Dignitas is in the middle of the lane. So he wants to ideally push the night camp of Dignitas towards the tower range and then taking the own. Problem, of course, is that one of the towers is already down. But yeah, having that a bit closer to your own wall makes you safer in that situation.
Thurl goes in for a fight in the middle side. Misses out. And we're going to have a fight around the temples. Illidan control on the top here. Should be able to deal with a one-on-one scenario, but he does have to be careful about Wubby coming in on the Dehaka, who, mind you, has kept Junkrat down in the bottom area. So Junkrat will not be in this fight. So Method intends to at least go for a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, they're going in the middle now, and so far Li Ming has waited a long time in the bush, making sure that she doesn't show, so no one jumps on her. But now we have the rotation into the middle instead, trying to fight here. Junkrat and Dehaka are still locked into that one-on-one battle. But Method is getting a fair amount of shots here. Arcana realizes that something's up, so good job by him. This time sniffing it out early, that there's a rotation headed towards him, and he moves back in time, does not fall. And it allows a bit more control for Method in the middle.
Interesting that Poik was able to clear out that night camp that was coming on the top side and get Dignitas in a position to where they have their night camp pushing in. Illidan doing his best to clear it out, but he can't do much. He has a very difficult time clearing that with multiple members here for Dig, and they push it all the way to the fort.
Yeah, but the rotation is now in. They start to move in. Oh, but Arcana nearly falling against the heal from Cursor as they go back into the range of the fort itself. But it seems as if Dignitas is very willing to push in heavily in a 4 versus 3 situation until we're seeing Shrimpy now approach the scene too. Over experience with 8 versus nearly 8 here, slight lead for Method. They're doing well, way more aggression from them now than in the previous games. So Method starting to pull a bit ahead here, but of course taking massive damage on that fort to the top.
But they defend it. The fort still stands. It's low, and that's something that can be grabbed later on by Dignitas, but a good positive for them as they have taken an experience lead for the first time in this best-of-5 series so far. So good news for them and something to pat themselves on the back for.
They took all the towers. They were able to take most of the walls down, all of them as far as I can tell. The bot lane, Junkrat was very successful against Dehaka, and at the top they did similar move. This time Shrimpy does not get caught by the drag, is able to move out. They're moving away from the Siege Giants. Illidan is still at the top lane, so he gets a bit of XP. They give up the Giants here. We'll have to de-push them, but Illidan is still all alone at the top and can try and push that in towards the opponent's fort a bit heavier.
But with that play, Dig is primed to be able to make an aggressive push in for the turrets on the bottom, and that will allow for them to tie up the experience here with their Giants helping out.
Also, Nick here with an interesting build on Junker. Got to trap them all on level 1, and on level 7 then a big ass. So Steel Trap, heavily focused by him at this point.
Wow.
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah, it can be annoying, especially when you finish that quest there on level 1 when you hit 7 heroes with Steel Trap. You get the cooldown reduced, and there are other talents to pick up later on that gives you more traps, which means that you can control space well. Very similar to Chromie's Adoro Anomaly that you get at level 18.
Yeah, so definitely an interesting build for him to pick up, and I'm interested to see if that really gives them edge. It's really interesting to run around the boss. That's, I feel, where that could actually become a big tool later on once he completes his level 4 quest. So that's something to watch out for if he really gets the value out of this that he is hoping for. Big push at the top lane now coming in from Dignitas. Oh, but talking about pushing, Tracer down, eliminated here. The Riptire is also starting to come in. Has to be exploded early since Wooby went straight for it, but with Tracer down, Dignitas now has the edge again when it comes to the temple at the bot, but up to this point, Ethereal was the one soaking the shots for his team.
Clever bait, and Dehaka will be able to come down and finish grabbing the temple, as you were mentioning. And more to think about that trap. When it comes to traps, who takes the traps for the team? Because you can't get rid of them by attacking them. Hang on, Ethereal's taking some damage as he chases them down. It's usually the Warrior. The Warrior, though, for Dignitas is actually a little bit low on health points when it comes to actual Warriors. Tyrael here. Yeah. So it's an interesting pickup, but one that makes sense when you think about it. If they have to have Tyrael eating those traps, that sets them up the opportunity to actually get some poke on him, maybe get him low after a quick blow up with Illidan and Tracer coming in. So different build, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I still want to see how much he can actually get done with it.
Yep.
I'm watching all the traps now. Every single time I see one on them, I'm just like, okay, let's see what he gets with this. But yeah, overall, gets the value at the top lane. They trade a fort for a fort. Need to get out, of course, before the actual rotation starts hitting the top. But they should be able to get this fort without any problem. And that keeps Method in the run here. They are still behind in experience slightly, so Dignitas has taken the lead again. But it's only by a small margin. So 2 kills against 0, but very even EXP between the two teams.
No 2-level leads for Dig yet, which is a win in itself for Method.
It's actually weird to say that, but it's true.
Tracer's on the side. Will he snitched? Azalea just too clever, checking the bush right away. And Shrimpy has to zip out, dropping a few points.
Good coordination in a team fight can win this for Method. If they use the cocoon at the proper time, make it a bit tougher for Li Ming to burst it down with, disintegrate right away, and then Illidan comes in with a hunt. There's a lot of cool tools that they have. And there's a lot of it hinges really on Arcana, on Illidan, and also on Tracer. So those are the two to watch out for during the fight. Shrimpy will have to deliver here. And we're talking about camps taken again, and of course at this point it's all about the temples. 2 of them activating another 20 seconds, and by the time both of our teams should be on level 13. So it's again an even talent fight. And so far Method didn't get too many of those during this game.
Dignitas has the smallest of window, and they're going to use that window to take away Giants from their opponent as they aggressively push in. Wubby's in a spot where he's not noticeable on the map, meaning Method has to play safe. And there we go. They take away the Giants. 1 temple in the center, 1 at the bottom. And Dignitas has the map pushing in. However, Method answers back with a night camp on the top. Illidan has done his best to get it across the map.
Yeah, and either they have to react to this, or they're just going for the fight over here now. They can ignore the camp for the time being, but it also means that their structures at the wall to the top are going to suffer. And Illidan is just ignoring the entire situation. He has the global. He's moving down to the bot lane. He's saying, okay, I can take these shots. And in the meantime, Method has now a move open for them into the middle, but they give those shots up. They're simply trading, trying to push the lanes back. It's an exchange in shots at this point. Mid temple goes to Dignitas, bottom temple goes to Method. Dehaka had to move to the top lane to deal with the camp. But it's still insanely close. And here comes the pro.
Wubby comes in, sees Junkrat and Tracer going straight to the bottom. This is going to allow Dignitas to rotate as a unit and go straight towards that Illidan. Shrimpy all by himself. Isolation comes out, misses.
Yeah.
Oik will get Dehaka out of that wrap.
Cocoon as well, and that was a decent Riptire here, doing nice damage on 3 heroes. rotate away again, and slowly and steadily, Dignitas is once more edging out those small advantages for themselves that will translate into an experience lead, especially now that they're taking over the shots to the bottom of the map. But both of the teams have lost all of their forts. So, right, this is the most even game that Method has played against Dignitas in the series.
Yep. Even with Dig having 2 kills, still tied up with them. Does become a bit of an issue at level 16 when Holy Ground comes out for Arterial. He'll be able to find maybe Uther or even Junkrat, lock them in before they can escape. But Method hangs in there. Illidan on the top side, playing safe as soon as Dignitas backs out, and Schwimpy goes in just to make sure no one's mounted up.
4 stacks, by the way, on a level 4 talent for Junkrat.
Boss call.
Yeah, they go for boss.
They're trying to force it before Holy Ground.
There come the traps, but yeah, you have still Sanctification to deal with.
Yes, you do.
They have Cocoon, though. That is a tough call to make, and one that they are abandoning right now.
Gotta be careful. Don't be too desperate here. Leashing between both of our teams as the boss stays around half health.
They still keep it leashed.
Hunt.
Hunt in, they're going for it. They're trying to bait the Sanctification. Now they just have to survive and move back. Sanctification is out, Cocoon is used as well, traps are there, and the Divine Shield had to be used to keep Ethereal alive. So already trading 3 cooldowns into this, and they are on the run. The boss has leashed, Dignitas half a level away from 16. They're going in, cleanse, Ethereal has the cooldown to move away, Burrow charges out, Beetle blocks the damage, and they survive for now.
And Method had to stay alive too, because Illidan, the call was made for him to just go to different lanes and soak up, and he did so.
Yeah.
Getting team to 15.5. And Team Dignitas feels back. They're thinking about it. Do we want to look at boss? Gotta be careful to do so, though, with Sanctification not being up.
Yeah, Illidan should get the 16 for them in time. But they're still around the boss. This is so close this time.
They're doing it.
This is really close. Yeah, they're going for the boss. They're going in. And Method has not really seen it yet, but they should. They should check this out with Nick, and he's already checking it. Illidan can use the global, but I think they're a bit too late. If Zero can move in now, but it is very late here, and they decide against it. If they still lose Junkrat, that would be a disaster, and they actually do. Junkrat goes down, and that is a massive problem. Damage on JPL, but again, no kill confirmed. 3 kills against 0 overall. Illidan stays at the top, doesn't even move in. Cocoon already used. Again, the roots against Manubarak. He moves out. The boss is going to go in for the keep. And Illidan has taken the top lane. He's not joining. He tries to at least get some value up at the top.
Wubby and a super glue tongue getting the kill on Junkrat. The keep is the next one that Dignitas wants to move into and take away from Method. And they look like they'll be able to do it pretty easily here. Everyone for Method is backing up, healing up, and presenting themselves, waiting for Junkrat, who has just now spawned. Dignitas advances forward, acting as if they'll go for a core.
Riptire's in. Riptire's there. They're trying to go for a bit of a blow-up. Snitch is low and attack. Divine Shield on Illidan. Sanctification has been used, and Dignitas makes the play for the core. Snitch low, and he is down. Is that the moment where Method can hold? They're trying, but the core is falling, and the boss is still active. 30% on the core, and it doesn't look like Method can do it. Dignitas goes for the 3-0, and they take it. They win Game 3. They take Sky Temple and take the series.
Dignitas remains undefeated here in the HGC phase, our only team to be undefeated at Week 2 in Europe. So huge congratulations to them as they're able to get the win over Method.
I swear I have seen them lose in scrims. I swear it happened.
Sandbagging. They take out their W's.
Yeah, probably. Like, I don't know, at this point, they are looking so strong.
But Method hung in there for a long time, honestly, on Game 3. Let's talk about the other two.
Yeah.
They really kept up the experience, even suffering a couple of kills here and there, but Dignitas finds their moment. They waited for the Tyrael Holy Ground, which we know is a big power spike for a Tyrael composition. They go for a boss, they secure it, and they just push all the way to core. Dignitas with the shot calls, with the experience, and of course the wave clear, have constantly been shutting down their teammates, and going into week number 3, they'll be the one that we'll keep our eyes on as they continue to prove that they're the best in Europe.
And I'm really thinking about who could threaten Dignitas. We've been thinking about Fnatic a lot, but for Fnatic to make that happen, they have to step it up from the games that we've seen earlier today. Dignitas already played against Strict. That's another one of the teams where we say, okay, they are strong, they look good, they can make it to the offline events. And Dignitas has 3-0 them. They won 3-0 against Method. Liquid?
Liquid, after seeing the performance against Leftovers, I doubt it a little bit.
You mean Diamond Skin?
Diamond Skin, sorry. The game's a little bit closer for Team Liquid, and Dignitas just seems to be on a different level. I think the next big hype match will be Fnatic versus Dignitas, but I need Angry Fnatic to come out.
Angry Fnatic, that's good. I like that.
I need Angry Fnatic to be there.
If Angry Fnatic shows up, they might have a shot. But if they play the same way they played against Zealots today, then I don't think so. And yeah, Tricked, Team Liquid, Method, those were the three teams where we said, okay, next to Fnatic and Dignitas, they are probably going to be the ones making the plays for the offline events. Then Zealots, of course, was always in the back of all our heads since they showed good performance, not quite the results that we expected, except for the day, of course. But yeah, it's not like Dig only played against very weak teams at this point. They really played a lot of direct competitors, and they didn't lose a map yet.
Yeah, Diamond Skin and Tricked are who Dig took out with the 2-0. I don't know, man. It's going to be a hard one. Zealots, I'm not fully sold out on yet completely, just because they ran the same composition today for the most part in majority of their games. I want to see some more variety from them. But I still love how they are rapidly improving as a team, so they definitely go up a little bit more in the rankings. I actually really enjoyed what I saw from Diamond Skin because they had a different flavor, but the issue for them is, can they be consistent? Will this be a team that matches the level we saw against Team Liquid, or are they going to fall to what we saw the first couple games?
Well, impressive by Dignitas. There's no way around it. 9-0 after 3 matches played. 3-0'd Diamond Skin, 3-0'd Tricked, and now they just 3-0'd Method. So, what's next on the menu?
Dignitas, absolutely destructive here. I actually look at that team and I'm like, is there a weakness at all? It doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and talk to Xaylia here, who has fit his shoes into the support role and has been doing quite well there. Xaylia, congratulations on your big victory today. And by the way, I love your hair.
I love yours too, Trick.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I had Kelly.
Thank you.
She did it. One of the best.
I feel bad now. Just saying, okay?
Somebody in between us is missing hair, and I don't want to point it out. So, Kelly. Kelly. Why am I talking about Kelly? Makeup artist coming with us.
How you doing, Kelly?
Hey, Kelly. Thanks for doing our hair, and Xaylia giving us the compliments. Congratulations on your big victory today. You guys are 9-0. This team, can they be beat?
Apparently not. I thought actually Method was going to be our hardest matchup, but today we played extremely well. We played patiently. We played straight to the plans.
Was there any concern?
I mean, yeah, every game, you know, we're super scared of them finding something really good, like Alexstrasza and the Infernal Shrines. We were super scared, so that game was probably super patient from the outside, and we were scared, like, what can this draft do? You know, it's not something we practice every day. So we gave them a lot of respect, and yeah, just took it slow.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Xaylia. Over to Caldor.
Well, you guys look unbeatable right now. The main question is, what would you say the biggest strength of your roster right now is? We always talk about how you seem to find experience where other teams don't have it. You end up with a 1.5, 2 level lead with giving up 2 objectives on Infernal Shrines, and the opponent doesn't get anything out of it. So what's the secret? How do you guys always pull this far ahead in experience and just make these games look like quick matches?
Yeah, I think Whoopi is a very calm, like, shot caller. He always makes sure that we have everything in the plan for the game. It's like set out in the beginning, and then we have, you know, Pork and Snitch. Pork is learning rotation super fast. In the beginning, it was a little wonky, but now we just have, you know, individuals with experience and a good solid plan, and then everybody knows how to follow it. And
you talked about shot calling, and has that changed a bit? Because I remember in China it was mostly a discussion that happened between JPL and Whoopi. Is that still going on, or is it by now that Whoopi has taken over the role as a shot caller completely?